Please introduce yourself and let the audience know about you. Include how art became your passion.
Okay, first I want to say thank you for having me to your classroom today. This is so exciting. My name is Shannon Patterson. I am a mother of 5 adult children. My husband and I live in Dallastown. I love art because when I was a small child, I had a very creative mind, and I was a little active, a little overactive, I would say. And my parents always fostered in me the desire to pursue what my passions were. And at the time, I used to love to color pictures, draw. I used to like to be outside a lot and write poetry. I liked taking ballet lessons because I liked the classical music. So I've always been interested in the arts. As I grew older, I was able to utilize my passion for the art by helping to illustrate children's books. And something I learned was that in creating art, in painting, in drawing, it's almost like a therapy. Sometimes life is a little bit stressful. Sometimes you maybe had a rough day at school. When that happened to me when I was younger, I would go home and I would just draw and paint. And it helped. It helped. So that's why it's my passion. It's something that I've always done. I love bright colors. I love making people happy by seeing something that I've done. And I love to learn something new and be as creative as possible.
We understand that you are a poet, writer, and artist. Tell us about doing these jobs/passions. What do you find to be easy, and what roadblocks are there?
That's a good one. Well, I will say this. Back when I was younger in my 20s, which was 182 years ago, no, I'm just kidding. They knew that wasn't true. I was actually a reporter for a newspaper when I lived on the island of Guam. And I was able to use my writing skills and talents by reporting on the utilities on the island. And I also had the opportunity to interview some of the island government officials, which was extremely exciting. And at the time, I was only 19. So I was able to do that very early on. Some of the roadblocks I found then with writing and what I find now, usually when you're juggling 2 types of things that you enjoy doing, with me being art and writing, sometimes your brain shuts down to one and then opens up to the other. So I don't know if you've ever heard the term writer's block, where some writers, there are times where they're able to write a lot of poetry, they're able to write short stories, they're able to do this or that, and then one day you wake up and you realize you don't have any more words left inside. So it's really hard to come up with the inspiration to continue to create your poetry and your writing. That's a roadblock that I come up with, that I come to sometimes, and what I do to overcome it is I listen to music, or I'll go for a long walk, and just seeing nature and the trees and the sunlight will sometimes inspire me to have the words to be able to put on paper. In regards to art, I do art professionally now, but I spent most of my adult life raising my kids, and I used to do art as a hobby. Just recently I decided, because it's a passion of mine, that I'm going to do it full-time. And that's what I've been doing full-time. Challenges, roadblocks would be finding the time to do it. And even though I love it, finding the motivation to complete a project. So that would be the answer to that one.
What inspires you to do these things?
Let's see. Colors, nature, sounds, certain smells, memories of childhood, my kids, you guys. I mean, in order to gain inspiration for doing art or writing, it's really just you writing or painting the world around you and your perception of that. So anything could be inspiration. And that's why with artists and with writers, there's so many types of art, And there's so much subject matter for stories and for poems. There's no one right or wrong way. Everything is inspiration to me.
Tell us about your art, the past, the present, and what you hope for in the future.
Okay. Well, my artwork in the past was more very young. Of course, my childlike perception of things. A lot of suns, bright yellow sunshine. You know, you like to draw your house, your family members, your family pet. As I grew older and you have more experience and you're exposed to more famous artists, then your experience grows and your talents grow. So then it became more in my teen years and in my 20s. It was, I thought I was really cool. So a lot of my paintings were like, what I would consider like rock star paintings and, mohawks, bing, that's still here and and things like that. As an adult, though, now, at the age I'm at, which I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you can guess, but don't, I'm very interested in presenting African American subject matter to society. That's something that's very important to me. I love all art, and I do all art, but I love projecting African American, positive African American images, especially here in York. So that's now.
Can you show us the art?
Sure, yeah. So I'll start with this one. This was actually an experiment that I did. This is what you would call mixed media. Okay, it's visual art, meaning that you're looking at it with your eye, but it's mixed media, meaning that you can use a whole bunch of different types of material in order to create it. So what does this look like?
A space?
Exactly. So this is one that I did called the Cosmos, right? And this was one that I put into one of the galleries here in York, the Hive Gallery. And believe it or not, I started by just putting a lot of color. And this is actually salt. I mean, you can get really creative and just use stuff from your house. Some artists use dirt, feathers, salt. And this is actually one of my favorites because it was one of the first mixed media pieces of art that I'd ever created, because I rarely go here, but I do this more often now. So that's one. I had about 100 to bring in, but I thought I'd just keep it to 3. This is another one that was also at the Hive Gallery for a recent theme they had about space, cowboys, and dinosaurs. I chose space. When I was a kid, years ago, there used to be the velvet posters with the neon painting, and we used to have one in our living room above our couch. It wasn't space, it was of a lion and something else, but I used to stare at this poster all the time. So that inspired me to do the neon colors on the black background, and with the sun and the different planets and the dark mountains in the distance and the cool water. And that's just from imagination. It doesn't even have to be real. I have no idea if those mountains exist, but they do up here. And this is one I'm actually still working on, and it's called She Walks in Beauty, which is actually a line from a Lord Byron poem. He's one of my favorite poets. And this is just acrylic. I went ahead and did all of the acrylic. I did a little bit of texture. You can use different types of acrylic paints because they come in different thicknesses. And you just apply it with your paintbrush and sponges. And then I love, because when I was younger I loved coloring books, and I used to always outline all of my pages in black crayon. I still do that as an adult. I love using black marker to be able to outline everything. I'm trying to stop, but it's been around for 40 years, so I don't know if I'll ever be able to get rid of it. And that's just some of the stuff I do. I do a lot of abstract art as well. And when you come to York, if you come to the city, take some time and go to the galleries that are there. They're free to walk in. The Hive Gallery, the Rooted, Market View Arts. I don't know if any of you do First Friday with your parents or your grandparents, your family in the city. No? the first Friday of every month, you go to all the galleries, you get to see everyone's artwork. And everyone will be seeing yours at Ironic. So, yep.
Did you ever mix your passions together?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, the Rooted Artists Collective in York, one of the galleries, they recently had a theme of combining poetry and words with art. So I actually did do. Can I show a picture on my phone? Is that okay? Okay. So, and I'll explain it. So what I did do was I did two pieces. One of them was to a poem that I wrote called The Locket. And it was actually a poem about, it had a lot of rhyming, which I love to do. And it was actually a poem about a water banshee that wanted the golden locket that a young girl had. And she could see it from the water. A water banshee is like a water fairy, who's kind of mean. But this young girl would come to the water's edge each day with her friends, and the water banshee would come up above the water and see that locket on her neck and the way that the moonlight lit it, and it made her greedy. She wanted it. So, in the end, she lured the girl into the water with promises of nice things, and then at the very last moment, she snatched her and pulled her down under the water because she wanted that locket, and she took the girl as well. On a lighter note, with that, I decided to do a painting. So it's a blue painting. I'll actually show you, if you don't mind. This might take, I'm not as young as you guys. Hold on. Doesn't take as So that was one thing that I'd worked on. And then while I'm looking for it, the other thing was I decided to do, one of my favorite writers is Khalil Gibran. And he writes stories, but they're kind of in poetry format. I mean, that might be something you'll want to read when you get older. One of his books, The Prophet, is one of my favorites. However, with the particular piece that I did, I went to a thrift store and I bought a black jewelry chest, a tall one that hangs on the wall. And I decided that I wanted to decorate the outside with the blue sky and the clouds, and then when you open it, I'd torn out pages from his book and then decoupaged them, which is kind of like gluing them. I glued them on the inside, so when you open the doors, you see the words to a passage that I enjoy. So this is, I'll come around. This is a picture of the locket painting. It's appropriate. And I did it in blue because what? She's under the water, right? Is it still lit up? And you can see the locket in the corner. Hold on. You can see the locket in the corner. There you go. Can you see it? Still lit up? Did you need to see it? So with that one in particular, I had it up on the wall with the poem. And then the final one is the one that I'd mentioned in regards to the jewelry chest that I bought. Now keep in mind the jewelry chest was only $1, so you'd be amazed what you can do with it. You'd be amazed what you can do with things that don't cost very much. So this is how it started off, as a plain brown box that hangs on the wall. And I decorated it with clouds and a blue sky. Let me know when the screen gets dark, because I don't know if I have it set on 15 seconds. Okay? Is it still there? Mm-hmm. Coming around, coming around. You see that? Okay, so that's the outside. And then when you open the doors, you find this. Try to make it bigger. So inside I put jewels and glass bottles. So it's just finding what you have at home and being very creative. Let's fill it up. I painted a little heart there. See that? So now it's at the gallery, so if someone were to buy it, or even when they go in to look at it, it's closed right now, but when they open it, they'll be able to see everything that's inside. So yes, long story short, I do frequently combine the two passions that I have. Yep,